All right, welcome to a brand new one wherein we invite successful fellow startup founders. And today in the show, we have got Ido Neeman with us, co-founder of Firefly. Ido, pleasure having you in the show. Welcome to the show, and it's thank you for saying yes to the podcast wherein the theme of the show is wherein we invite early stage Y Combinator venture backed startups founders and help us taking through the journey so that the founders or aspiring founders or who are just getting started knows the hows and what not to do. So welcome to the show again, and I'll probably give it to you to introduce yourself to the audience who doesn't know about you. By the way, Ido is pretty famous when it comes to building infrastructure companies. He's done that in past, and Firefly is pretty much in the news. So go ahead and check that out. But without further ado, I'll give it to you, Ido, to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Sean. And always a pleasure to connect with you, and thank you for having me here. So hello, everyone. My name is Ido. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Firefly, the cloud automation platform where we help cloud teams of all shapes and sizes control the cloud with infrastructure as code.
Amazing. Thanks for the generous introduction, Ido, but I'm sure there's a lot of interesting stuff happening in the background. The first question, I think the theme is divided into multiple sections. We'll start with your intro, then pretty much operational stuff happening at Firefly, technical stuff, and then we're going to talk about a little bit about funding, open source, and some of the fun stuff you're doing at Firefly. So, who is Ido and what he was doing prior to finding Firefly? Where were you working? What inspired you to start Firefly? And probably if you can start from there. Yeah.
So first, I'm a long time nerd. Growing up, my father persuaded me to get into computer science, and every summer I needed to learn a new programming language. And by the end of the summer, we run a small what then we call Chrome run, today app. My father would let me a new bike or back then and a CD burner. This was got me to Java, unfortunately. So this is how I found myself going into the Israeli cyber intelligence forces. Did almost 12 years there. Lots of different types of operations. Predominantly, I think I spent many years doing cyber operations and cyber security. And it was always my passion, doing things that now scale and software. But then life took an interesting turn, and my second hobby, which was investing and understanding how companies report and go public, I got the opportunity to join a new freshly minted hedge fund here in Israel. So I joined it, and in the portfolio, I led everything tech related. But my passion for startups never died. So after a few years, very successful and joyful years at the hedge fund, I got back into startups, founded my first startup around serverless, lost low level optimization just for serverless. And then now it's 3.5 years ago, my partners and we all felt a great pain around managing cloud complexity, and we all saw the potential of using infrastructure as code to solve it. So we decided to start Firefly, and since then, this is what we think. We see great success with it.
Sure. We'll obviously going to dive into Firefly a lot, but you mentioned about investing, hedge fund, and all of those stuff. Were you doing? I mean, is that something you would be doing if you were not working, or if you're not working on Firefly? Is that something you would have done full time? And did you always grew up with a lot of money? Because investing, even if you start investing, need to have a sizable amount of money. So did you grow up with a lot of money, or you kind of worked your way hard through the hard way and then got in a lot of money, and then you kind of started investing from whatever share you had?
So I'll say that, in the Jewish culture, in the Jewish religion, there's a very important milestone in a man's life. It's called Bar Mitzvah, when you go to the age of 13, this is where, according to Judaism, you are now responsible for your own acts. And until the age of 13, God gives you like a free pass to do whatever you like. But once you become 13, okay, now you're a man and you're responsible. So in Judaism, 13 is a very significant age, and you have very large celebration when you get to this Bar Mitzvah. So there's a very large celebration, and you get some gifts from your family. So I wouldn't say I grew up with a lot of money. I also, don't want to say the son to on the other side, right? Had a very normal life and happy life, and I have the most amazing family. But hardworking middle class family. But my father and mother, they just told me, hey, take all your bar mitzvah money. You don't need it now. Like we won't allow you to buy anything that you'd like. But you'll take this money and you'll invest it. So by the time you're 18, you might be able to own a car. So we did it, and I remember still my father told me, hey, even if you lose everything, you'll gain more than anything else. This will be your enrollment. This will be the tuition fee that you learn the most of, and this is what got me started. So and then I got this bar mitzvah, and then every summer I told you I need to program for my father to get the gift, but also I did some work. So it can be I've been running errands, and I've been a delivery boy for a flower shop, and it was an operator in the amusement park, and so on and so forth. Every end of summer, I take this money and put it into the stock market, and got me excited because when you see stocks go up and down, you see and mutual funds and ETFs. It has adrenaline into it. So I would definitely say these are my two passions: software startups and investing.
Wow. Is that the reason? I mean, that number you mentioned, 13, is that the reason Israel is flourishing in the tech and B2B SaaS? And today, any technology, I mean, Israeli are there. So I think I was reading one of the insights from a startup agency that the number of unicorn, the first number is obviously US, and then you've got Israel, and then you've got obviously India. So is that the reason behind a lot of these early stage successful startups are also coming from Israel? Because the number you mentioned, that you are like trained like that, and that culture is kind of is there with you folks, and that's why you're able to hustle and achieve a lot.
I don't think it's related only to the bar mitzvah. It's related to a broader cultural aspect. Okay. And it's more. It's not only about the Judaism side. It's more about the Israeli side. About being a small nation. The complete opposite of India, which is a very, very large nation. Israel is a small nation, and we have to be great at everything that we do to survive. And we have, unfortunately, we have some defense issues that we do take care for ourselves. And with defense, we win with technology, right? So everyone goes through the army. Everyone, certainly is an important milestone, but at 18, everyone is drafted to the army. So now you're really responsible for life of your own and some others, and responsible for protecting your country. So everyone gets responsible, and we win with technology, right? When they throw rockets at us, we develop the technologies to protect ourselves. So it allows you to get the mentality of, hey, I'll use my technology advantage to get great stuff in life. And this is what one of the reasons that makes us what they call startup nation.
Amazing. Good to hear that. Yeah, I think complementing both the words. Coming back to Firefly, what were the pain points? I know you with your co-founder, you kind of realized that this is this time to start Firefly. Were you already working in some sort of enterprise and you were seeing all of those problems, or it was because lack of those features in HashiCorp or Terraform's cloud version? So what was that trigger point which kind of made you realize that it is time to position Firefly and start something on your own?
So let me tell you a story. Back in my previous company, we had a team of ninjas, software ninjas, that they can do everything, right? And every time there was a new test, they would fight each other on who is taking it. And the more low level, the more hardcore, the more they fight, channel stuff and very complex and stuff that you grow that are very much undeveloped and you need to trail or blaze your own trail. They were just fighting. And then when it got to, okay, now it's running, now let's deploy it to the cloud. Now hey, you know what? Let's let the DevOps do it. We don't deploy to the cloud. So this is the first time I thought, hey, those are very hungry engineers that are just always looking for more. But when it comes to deployment, they're taking a step back. Why is it? Back then I thought, it's a little bit of patronizing of, the backend engineer over the DevOps. And this is how I rolled with it. Few months passes by, and suddenly we see a spike in our AWS account, which we incurred $18,000 overage in 2 weeks. So let's extrapolate $36,000 in less than a month. It's a small, so it's not a small expense for a startup. A small startup, which isn't as a lot of money. And we said, hey, what happened here? Oh, it was a misconfiguration in Terraform. And then everything clicked together, right? Say, okay, you can be the best software developer, but Terraform is so powerful that a small misconfiguration can result in a very big error. And it's just so hard to really understand how everything clicks together and connects. So this is why that they're taking a step back, and it shouldn't be like this. This should be easy for them. They should have the guardrails and the confidence just deploy as fast as they like, because this is how startup wins. This is how enterprise win in the competitive market that we have today, right? You have to ship faster, better software. But if you're constantly afraid, it's either taking you too long or you're not releasing the best software. So this is the first time I personally felt this pain of, cloud is super complex. You have the best engineers, but the ops side is still not solved. And Terraform is the best basis for it, but it's far, far from being perfect. When it gets to that, I met my co-founders and my partners, Steffi and Iran. Each and one of them felt it differently. Iran felt it in large enterprise like Finastra and cloud unicorns like Aqua. Steffi felt it at startups like Dom9, but also in security enterprise like Checkpoint. And everyone brought his own angle, and together we created what today is Firefly.
Right. Okay, so that one misconfiguration, I'm sure it must be about bigger size of machine or something, because I think that's one of the most common. But yeah, I think that, and you keep saying a lot about misconfiguration drift, and that is pretty much visible in Firefly's overall proposition as well. But are you folks YC backed or some sort of incubation as well, or how? I mean, what was the starting point once the idea was formulated? Did you put in your money, or you approached some sort of incubation center?
No, actually, we got accepted to YC, but we decided to not take it. Back then, it was, we started Firefly at May of 2021, and it was a very strange climate. Well, back then, I'm not sure if we would have taken the same decision today. I was very happy on where we're at today, but back then I was saying, hey, why do we need to give YC 8% of the company if we can just raise money from great VCs? So this is what we did, right? We had a bunch of angels supporting us for a month or two while incubating this idea. Some of the best names in this field. The most notable is Zohar Alon, our chairman. And then, we just raised money from great VCs. Our series seed was done by Vertex, and then we read at the next round from SoftBank and Hyco Ventures and Resiliency, JLR and Vertex.
First of all, that's a very brave move. I mean, people would take all the steps to go to YC, and they boast about it. And obviously, there is reason to boast. But you had your other plans and reasons that you were already... Is that one of the reasons that you were already banked and you know how to raise funds? And that came with previous experience of you with hedge funds and investing?
It might be. I'll say I'll say two things here. First, in 2021, it was much easier to raise funding than it is today, and before that. So we didn't.
It doesn't look like today it's difficult for you, at least. I'm just kidding.
It's hard for everyone, right? Like not opening AI, it's hard for everyone. But the standards are different. But we were extremely confident in our ability to raise funds from top VCs, and we did it. And then we didn't think that we need the YC playbook to get to where we are. We're not an open source company. We the whole SaaS. We contribute to open source, we are open source, but Firefly is a solution. So we just want, and we have our VCs, our angels, our advisors, and our knowledge from our prior careers on how to go about Firefly. So we didn't feel we needed, and it's almost like I don't think, I have lots of respect for YC, but we all saw it as a time waste. Why go to those dinners? Why just focus on those numbers? We have one number we care about, which is ARR. We had a plan from day one. We execute according to it, and not just focus on our customers, but then our design partners can become customers, our business model, and bubble our technology. Let's just build, and if we have the money to do it, all the rest is defocusing.
Right. There's a lot of clarity already you had, Ido. Where does that come from? Did you have something built and sold or exit before? Or that was compounding with time as you were building Firefly?
First, it's sheer arrogance and stupidity. So to the student for that. And second, I had a startup before. I think I shaved on another person's beard at least once. And then, even our background from the army and intelligence and building large scale software systems, and my background in investing, you see a lot of businesses, you understand what's working, what's not. And if I'm being a little bit cynical, I'm very much connected to the approach or the philosophy that a manager or a CEO is a capital allocator. Right? You need to allocate money to R&D and money to marketing and money to sales and for HR and general and administrative and so on and so forth. And you decide where to take it. And in R&D, you will focus more on quality or velocity, right? So it's just like investing. Hey, market, this is my key. This now I'm going to back this ETF or this stock in now. And this is the short. Do I take put? Or do I take call options, right? So I think all combined just gave us the confidence to just run as fast as we like it, because we believed, and we still believe, we have one of the best opportunities and most lucrative markets to tap into. And time is the most important asset that we have, and this is what we don't want to lose.
Makes sense. I know when you started Firefly, there were already players existed like Spacelab, TerraGrant, and bunch of other, I don't know name companies, but they already had their existence. And I'm sure it was not misconfiguration which you thought that you can capitalize the entire market. So what were you thinking when you were just getting started, that there were players and this is how we're going to differentiate ourselves with others who's going to come and who already exist?
So, some of the names you mentioned do play around us, and we can both complement them. Yeah, and we are complementing them at some of our customers and their customers, and we also replace them at some. But honestly, I think we do something different. As if we go back to the origin story, at my previous company, the DevOps engineer did a good job automating Terraform. Okay. Yeah. Implementing and orchestrating IAC is a headache, and I understand why it's complex, and Firefly solves all of the problem around it. But the bigger problem is to make sure that everything is connected and everything is properly controlled and governed. How do you do it? You don't just automate Terraform, because this is how you can automate problems and automate misconfigurations. You can do more harm than good sometimes. The problem is you don't have an asset management system. You don't have a source tool for cloud. Where do I go to see everything I have across my multi-cloud, multi-account, all the solutions that I'm using, right? So we created the sources tools for cloud. We understood that infrastructure as code is de facto the operating system of cloud. So if you combine the two together, you have one place to see everything in cloud, understand what's controlled and codified versus unmanaged, misconfigured, or inefficient. And for each one of those problems, we give you a set of automations for you to solve it immediately, efficiently, and at scale, right? So it's a source of and automation there on top of it. And this is something that we are the only one currently doing. Yes, there are some CNDB tools for IT. Fantastic, not for cloud. There are some Terraform automation solutions about HashiCorp, but some other competitors in the talking space. But no one lives and breathes the two spaces together, and we see it as a must to winning the broader cloud game.
Right. So I think the asset management is surely the one wherein you were saying that whether you're working on Azure, AWS, GCP, we can see everything in a single pane. And typically in an enterprise level customers, you will see either that people are, these companies are generally using all three clouds or maybe more than that. So, that becomes the USP. And I'm sure at that point of time when you started, there wasn't much of competition around cloud, the asset management, because most of the players were trying to solve the problem of how to make Terraform more efficient, how to apply it more efficiently with RBAC and a lot of other stuff, but not asset management. Though, I'm sure you're keeping a tab on your competitors as well. It looks like a lot of your competitors now are coming with asset management as well. Now, with in next couple of iterations,
I think it's this is the natural course of life. You don't operate in a vacuum. In a market, see that another player is tapping into a bigger, more lucrative opportunity. Move into it, right? We are capitalists. We encourage competition. We welcome anyone to compete with us and lose. It's fine. We also see some opportunities now in the IAC automation and orchestration field. And we have great success there. It's the stuff that no one in the market offers, even in the infrastructure automation or orchestration, right? Unified governance engine, something that it's more the automation and social tools together. Why have one governance engine for cloud and one set of policies and governance for the infrastructure as code of Terraform CI? It should be one. Cross forecasting for cloud and one cross forecasting for a solution for Terraform, right? One. Why go to have another CI system when you can just connect to your existing CI system with a click of a button, right? So we have everything to offer in any space. Is just the concept. One source of tools, one asset management system to control it all, bundled with a layer of automation to solve every problem you need.
Right. But you always have a first mover advantage, Ido, right? When you kind of introduce things first, you competitor. As you mentioned, that you cannot operate in a vacuum, but you'll always have a first mover advantage with governance, asset management, and you folks seems to be the first one who got and started the wave of both of these verticals in infrastructure space.
Correct. And I think that there are some other spaces where we are innovative in. And again, as you mentioned, I think as long as we are the innovators and our competitors are coming after us, it's blessed and just shows that we have the right caucus. We listen to our customers best, and we know how to service them in the most efficient manner.
Yeah, I think Compass is the tool which recently introduced by N0 as well, wherein it kind of does all the asset management and kind of go through all of your resources together and kind of tell you that where there are drifts, where there are uncompliant and all of those stuff. I mean, as you mentioned, Compass, I kind of, that kind of clicked my mind. Yeah. Perfect. All right. I think we move on to the next one. You spoke a lot about what Firefly does, misconfiguration, drip detection, asset management. What is the most loved feature by your customers, and who are typically these customers are? I mean, what size of business they have? Are these startups? Are they mid-size, enterprise, mix of them? So yeah, if you could just help us answering these 2 pointers.
All right. So let's start with who are the customers, and then for the most feature. Our customers are cloud teams. Okay, it can be the platform engineering team, it can be the SRE, it can be the DevOps, it can be the cloud ops. Anyone who owns and is responsible for the cloud. Now, we serve customers from small startups to Fortune 500s. But I will say, the bigger you are, the more value you get out of Firefly. Because Firefly eventually solved the problem of cloud. If you are a team of 4 people, right? One is the CEO, one is the CTO, one is the front-end engineer, and one is the back-end engineer that is responsible for the DevOps. You know everything that you have in your cloud.
Yeah.
Your cloud is not that complex. If you're a team of 40, okay, it's a bigger problem. But if you're a team of 100 or 10,000 or 100,000, definitely the cloud is beyond your ability to comprehend and control, right? So we have even very, very small startups as customers, but would like to see ourselves more skating for the mid-market and for enterprise layer. And then if you understand this and you understand that we help you solve cloud complexity, the number one feature at Firefly is the qualified cloud. Let's see everything that they have in my cloud, and let's understand which part of it is properly qualified versus unmanaged, misconfigured, or inefficient. We call it that. And CUDG, qualified, unmanaged, drifted, or ghost. And then you use it, you take any path, like, hey, you'd like to qualify everything in the cloud. Firefly allows you to get automatically to 100% IAC coverage. Hey, you want to solve the drifts? Firefly finds all the drift and gives you root cause analysis and also remediate them for you. Then we need the same for ghosts. Then we do stuff for inefficiencies and ungoverned resources. But the first thing is to understand which part of your cloud are properly controlled and codified versus not.
Okay. And on the same term, technically, if you're not using Firefly and you end up not detecting these drifts early in the life cycle of infrastructure, A, you'll end up spending a lot of money. B, you'll end up building a lot of things from scratch, which you shouldn't spend time on because Firefly is already giving those out-of-box features. Are these like fair to say these are the USPs that typical? Because I come from an infrastructure background and I have done this. I've written PowerShell, shell script to figure out drifts. I mean, one of the ways which we did in the previous organization was that keep applying Terraform plan again and again, and that will tell you the drifts. So you end up doing a lot of technical debts and increasing a lot of toils. Would you agree with this?
I definitely will. I will say that, to run Terraform plan or top fly constantly, yes, you'll get it, but there's a bigger cost than it seems. One, especially when you talk about the larger players, it's not scalable. You can't, if you have 10 million cloud resources on AWS and another 5 on Azure and another 3 on GCP, you just can't run a plan command across of all of them at the same time. You've got rate limitations. Your internal container or Lambda that runs it will cost too much and get Lumium or anything else, right? So you need a different mechanism. You make something scalable. Then need context for it. You need to benchmark it also versus stuff in the cloud that are not directly by your responsibility. Again, if you have a small team and you're responsible for all the infrastructure, it might work. But if you have a bigger company with now 8 teams, how do you make sure that everything is aligned? Now, okay, you mentioned Terraform, right? And my friend uses Tofu, and the other friend might use CloudFormation. I'm using Helm charts together with Arbor CD and Arbor directory, right? Now, someone wants to bring in Crossplay. How do you make sure everything lives in one place? Now I found a drift. Okay,
Right.
first, what's the implication? How do I solve it? Then, okay, what was the cost implication for it? So trying to bundle everything together, I think today it's well established that you need a streamlined mechanism to control your lap and manage drift. Just like you can run your own ELK stack and do your own observability. But if you become bigger and bigger, the cost of doing it yourself is not something that comes easy. It's probably to streamline it.
Right, right. Also, it looks like cloud formation is very, it's very pleasing to the eyes of non-technical users as well, like project managers or business analysts who don't have any, that things are complex when you go to Azure and do stuff or AWS or GCP. With Firefly, you can just go check out the drifts and pricing and everything. So it's fairly probably easier for non-tech folks who are not ideal developers or infrastructure, still can kind of get a 360 sneak peek of what's happening around their infrastructure rather than clicking on different UIs of multi-clouds.
Correct. And I will say one of the benefits of Firefly is a unified system to control everything in the cloud.
Yeah.
It means it's also you can unify and standardize the level of cloud or IAC understanding, right? You can be a new engineer or a very experienced SRE with 15 years of experience. With Firefly, you generate the same level of infrastructure as code, right? You want everything models, you want everything complex. Firefly builds it for you, right? You don't need to want nested models. Firefly does it for you. You want to understand the drift in cloud formation as a business analyst? Firefly gives you everything out of the box. When we automate your infrastructure as code or do the orchestration for it with our infrastructure as code management, IACM, if you have an error, why fight it? Firefly giving you detailed analysis of what went wrong, gives you the conclusion of what should be changed, and then also just prepares the fix for you, the remediation for you. So we understand what happened, we understand what needs to be done, and then you just work away from solving it. So
Yeah.
this is a very key, a very important element of solving the cloud complexity is standardizing and understanding that different teams has different levels of skills and experience.
Right, right. Absolutely. Can't agree more. Talking about standardization and complexity, I think 2023-24 has been a lot about AI agents and agents framework. I know Firefly doing a lot around code generation, Pulumi, Terraform. What is coming up with AI? Like, there are companies who not only generate Terraform, Pulumi, OpenTofu, whatever you want to call, they're applying these configuration as well. So the it's just not verbose information, but actual implementation as well. What is your take on that, Ido? Or Firefly is doing something around those direction as well?
So Firefly, and it's not by chance, our domain is firefly.ai, right? We love AI, we adopt it constantly, we have lots of technology built around it, but having said all that, we're not a foundational model company. We use the best out there. So it can be Anthropic or OpenAI or Llama, you name it. We use the best of the best. Yes, AI can help you generate better code, and we use it to generate the best possible code with context. So not just generate a code with a proprietary knowledge, and it's generated in context to a broader environment to make sure that it's really working, that it's really immutable, that you are ready for whatever to come, and your code is reliable. Then another thing to consider is that in the future, we'll have agentic cloud resources, right? Agents will deploy and change the cloud.
Yeah.
How do we govern it? How do we manage it? Or you need one system to control and govern your entire cloud. You need a cloud automation platform. You need Firefly to really unleash the potential of those AI agents and learn from your best practices and central knowledge of cloud. But what is this central knowledge? The central knowledge in your management system.
Makes sense. And I think you made it very clear that even if you're not a foundation company, but you're very AI driven as well, because you're already doing a lot of stuff. But even if you had those agentic models deployed, you will still need the right platform or tool to govern them, observe them, and then act on them. And that's where you kind of come into the picture. Yeah. So you mentioned mid-sized customers. Yeah, obviously, when you start a feature, you go ahead and use Firefly as well. But one of the most asked feature or loved feature is that drift detection and then misconfiguration. Is that what you've seen across end users? Because writing Terraform is easy, but misconfiguring it is probably even easier.
Yeah, drift is definitely a strong driver, but again, it's the control of the cloud with infrastructure as code. I think today is taking the center stage of a very big tech debt that the industry neglected for a while. But when you adopt multi-cloud and multi-account and different teams and technologies, we must have a central management layer to control it all. Fortunately, we have infrastructure as code to control everything. But now, what is infrastructure as code? We live in a multi-infrastructure as code world. Terraform is awesome. I love Terraform. But Stopu is also great. And not for mention, for inject them back on AWS Ruin Benjamin. This is where you see lots and lots and lots of our CloudFormation syndicate users. But we have great customers on Azure. They're using ARM and Bicep. Helm is the biggest infrastructure as code for Kubernetes. Our goal is on the rise. Customizing work to that. Crossplane is something that's picking up. Now you have all those infrastructures from code solutions, right? And we didn't even mention Telegram and some other wrappers out there. So you can't say that you choose one infrastructure as code framework and stick with it. You load future-proof everything, and you must de-risk changes to this landscape. So controlling everything with infrastructure as code is the most loved and needed feature, and we see it. Maybe another thing to say that we are, in essence, we're seeing an uptick in interest in cloud infrastructure resiliency or disaster recovery for cloud configurations. So what happened with CrowdStrike, where one software update brought the world to its knees and broke so many mission critical systems, made many organizations understand they need to rethink their business continuity plans. So everyone backs up the data. This is great. But if you have just the data, but it doesn't have the infrastructure to live in, you did nothing. You're not, okay, you use the data, but you're not operational and efficient. You don't have business continuity. So what you need is to constantly back up all your cloud configurations. But if you have a solution like Firefly, constantly scanning all your cloud, all your configurations, and then having the ability to restore them, basically you're supporting business continuity. And that's why I think it's one of the bigger trends going into 2025.
Makes sense. Isn't it strange, I know that when all of these cloud publisher started, I mean, one of the USP they had is that we'll come with a uniform or centralized disaster recovery strategies. You pay more, we'll make sure that your data is kind of backed up, DR proved as well. Still, even after 15 years of cloud kind of making a strong wave, you still have that fundamental gap that even if you spin up resources, you will still need to have a layer to have those backup strategies. Either you build custom or you kind of end up spending more with secondary region or secondary servers or storage or DEs, whatever you want to call it. And still you don't know whether whatever you have designed is right or wrong. And that's where kind of Firefly shits over here, because a lot of things come out of box and there's already a model defined underneath.
Yeah, I think everything you said is correct, but let me give you some other things you think on. Yeah, the cloud can be best your disaster recovery solution, but there's a reason why the backup and the store industry is so big, and not just by Azure, AWS, and Google, right? Because some configurations they can see, right? And I'm not sure you want to give AWS all the or GCP or Azure, the ability to see everything that you do in your clusters or within your servers. Then, and what about other particles of the cloud? Right? What about MongoDB Atlas? What about your PagerDuty, your Datadog, your GitHub Actions? Everything is part of your infrastructure. The cloud providers can do it. Then we just talked about multi-cloud, so we have one full scope. Lastly, we are built on the public cloud. We love the public cloud. We trust it, but you can't count in 100% of it. This year we had an incident for Unisuper. Unisuper ran on GCP, and GCP deleted their account, but also deleted their backup account. So if you'd count on GCP to act as your disaster recovery contingency plan, you don't have it, right? So you gotta have an independent backup and restore provider. So I think there are many reasons to do it, and don't just take our growing, emerging space in the broader cloud resiliency player. Look at some bigger public companies that offer even backup to S3 buckets, right, or images on Azure. Why you need it? Because sometimes you can't trust the cloud and they don't know everything that's out there.
Right. Makes sense. Absolutely. I think we as an interested just spend a lot of time figuring out what would be the ideal disaster recovery. I still remember my days where I was the one in a small startup who did the backup, and I kept my username and password to trigger the backup. It was an AD account, and after 30 days, the password got expired. I changed it on my system, but I forgot to change it in the script, and there was no backup happening after expiration. And when there was actually a disaster, we could not recover. So all of these human errors would still be there, and you really need a foolproof system which makes sure that it is triggering daily, restoring it as well, telling you whether it's backed up or not, giving you alerts real time, and make it really real work as well, rather than just a placeholder to do backups, or for that matter, bigger level DR stuff. For organization, I know who already has a typical SRE platform infrastructure team, and they want to get started with governance, how easy it is to onboard Firefly? Is the TTL too high or pretty easy to get started, and quickly you're able to onboard your customers? Generally, what's been the trend?
It takes minutes. It's simply simple. You can go to app.firefly.ai. We have a very simple wizard. It takes literally 5 minutes and you're up and running with cloud automation platforms.
Sure. Sounds fair. Talking about these platform level engineers, the trend is changing. Earlier, if you knew how to write Terraform, Pulumi, CloudFormation, you were a hero. You had some skill set. Things are changing now, especially for DevOps engineers. What is your 2 cents to these new age engineers or people who are not kind of upgrading the skills? What's up for them? Because writing Terraform looks like not even a skill anymore.
Agreed, and I think AI changed everything, right? Eran, my partner, says that today the most important key for a developer is tap, because you have in that Copilot, you just tap, and it does everything for you. So the most important skill is just learning, right? Understand how Terraform is built, not just how to write the syntax. Understand what's the underlying infrastructure that you manage and how everything is interconnected. Same, and if you understand this, you understand how Kubernetes works, and so on and so forth. So I don't think nothing material will change. You can understand how to write Java, but you want to master it, you have to know the internals of the JVM and understand what's happening in the lower level. Once you understand this, everything becomes much easier.
Amazing. Cool. As we are kind of coming to the end of the podcast, we will try to touch base on a bunch of other things and what happened in last few years. One of your co-founder, Sefi, went through an immense tragedy. I know it must have been tough, but how are you keeping yourself and the mission which Sefi started with, making sure that's there Is there something you're looking at every day that this is what you and Sefi decided to achieve, and you're making sure that you are reliving his dream as well?
Yeah, so Seth again is my partner and Firefly CEO. Went to a music festival and got melted in a terror attack on October 7th by cool people. We just went to a music festival, to a party. And just like many of us, he just loved electronic music, went to dance and never came back. And I still miss him every day. But the entire Firefly team and myself, we are all committed to making Sefi's vision come to life. Sefi was all about creating the best technology to solve bigger problems for cloud teams out there, and this is what we're doing. We remember his quest, mission, and vision every day, and we're trying to make the most out of it.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, I spoke to him a couple of times. He was a wonderful man, and I all power to Firefly and team and you to go higher up the ladder, and whatever Sefi and you folks kind of decided together, you should be able to achieve leaps and bounds. So all the best and good luck to the entire Firefly team. How is the team coping up with the all defense stuff and war impacting? How do you kind of make sure that nothing is kind of impacted operationally within team, and what are the steps you're kind of taking internally, to keep the motivation of everyone super high?
We are very resilient as it's baked into us. Business, as usual, we're doing our best. You need to not miss every minute and push as hard as we can, and we're able to do it. Our team is very, very strong and talented, and we know how to seize every opportunity and every minute of the day to just push forward. So for us, nothing really materially changed.
Sure. All right. Is being a founder really tough, in an early stage growth startup? I know it comes with a lot of compromises, but do you have some borderlines? Okay, beyond this, I'm not going to work. This is the amount of time I'm going to spend in office. This is the amount of time I'm going to spend it. So because I think internet is all about that work 18 hours, hustling. I know, and that's true also up to a certain extent. What's your take on the entire work-life balance and all of those stuff?
I'm not the best guy to ask this. I'm not thinking about work-life balance. I don't have boundaries. Everything Firefly and the business needs, I will give it. But just me personally, I don't want to give advice to other people. Some people have it best with capping the day at 11 hours of work. Some not. But I'm always saying that there's more to be done. And we should do our best and not look back and regret about stuff that we should have done and we did. But again, not trying to give any advice to anyone.
I think you've already answered. Going beyond the limits, whatever it takes to make the Firefly successful. So it's you don't count the hours, you just get things done and kind of move fast. Looking back, is there anything you would do differently if you were to start Firefly today?
Many things, but I'm not looking at the in the real mirror. I'm looking ahead. I'm asking myself, what should I change now to make Firefly's future more promising? So always looking ahead and not looking at the past.
Anything customers should be watching out? Any new space you folks are building around? You mentioned around a lot of governance around AI and stuff, but any cool features, or you want to keep it surprise, which is coming up for our customers?
I'll just say that 2025 is going to be another awesome year for us, and we're very excited for our cloud resiliency and disaster recovery capabilities coming.
Amazing. One last one. Recently raised a lot of funds. Was it easy? Or, people who are doing it for the first time, how you is it enough if you build a successful MVP showing a lot of value? Would it kind of steam you to have the first round of funding if you're just getting started?
First, I don't think it's never easy. I think even with you on your read it in the news, everything looks fun and happy and easy, but it's never easy. And then it just varies, right? You can be a company with $0 in revenue and gets to a unicorn valuation, and you can have 20 million in ARR and have a hard time raising a $10 million out, right? So it's just about how you position yourself and which type of technology you have that can ensure your future. Again, it's not about what you did, it's about the future to come and how you can capitalize on it efficiently.
Amazing. That is all then. I think it was wonderful having a chat, having a conversation with Ido. I took a lot of learning from the session, and I'm sure the viewers had their own perspective as well. I think what space you are in and Firefly is in, being a lot of cool feature and building things which is one of its kind. And you're always kind of the ones around was building first and giving the direction to a lot of other people also. So whether it's governance, asset management, drift, disaster recovery, and these are some of the actual real stuff which the senior level DevOps engineer or the engineering companies generally need to have. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Ido. We wish you good luck and whatever cool feature coming up, we look forward for it. And thank you again for coming on the show.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll enjoy it.
Thank you so much.